Are in town against the San Diego Padres. And hello, everyone. Dick Enberg along with Mark Grant. We're hoping this will be a night, not those little sizzler things, you know. We want some aerial bombs to go because this Arizona team can hit the long ball. Their hitters, number 3, 4, 5, and 6, have all had 3 home runs this year.
We know that they can hit the long ball in Arizona, and you take a look at these home run swings. Mark Reynolds goes deep in Arizona. Kelly Johnson from the left side. You're going to see Chris Young, but 16 home runs, that's first in the National League. 60 runs, that's second. They are producing some serious runs. The one thing about this Arizona Diamondback team is that I think that they can hit for power anywhere. Home runs also, this is a very big key. A lot of teams to be successful. They've had home runs from 7 different players. It's just not 1 or 2 guys in the lineup. When you've got guys with that type of power, pitchers are shaking in their boots. They're worrying about keeping the ball in the yard because the Diamondbacks can hit it out anywhere, I think.
Well, they've played 6 games at home and 3 games at Dodger Stadium, averaging only almost 2 home runs a game. We'll see what happens at Petco. We were watching batting practice, and a couple of times someone crushed one, and oops, only a warning track. Let's see if Garland can keep the ball in the park. Well, we're on the home run subject. In the last 5 games, Will Venable, a couple of home runs and a couple of triples.
I think William Venable is just going to get better and better with time. We take a look. Oh, look at the throwbacks. That's an old-fashioned swing. Out and over the plate, down and in. William from the right-hander, down and in. Now, a big key, the scouting report really circulates throughout Major League Baseball. And you talk about extra base hits. I look at home runs, I look at extra base hits, and guys making progress. 5 of 9 hits this season are for extra base hits, 2 triples and 3 home runs for William Venable. So the slugging percentage is up. It's just not like a single here, a walk there. I like to see the punch in Will Venable's bat, and I think he is going to just get better and better.
Bud Black, in noting the lack of power, has moved both Chase Headley and Will Venable up 1 spot in the batting order and dropped Kyle Blanks from the number 4 hole down to number 6, and that in part is to take some pressure off Blanks as a cleanup man. What do you think about the weekend?
I'm excited. I'm excited to see some good pitching because Petco Park is generally a pitcher's ballpark, and I'm anxious for John Garland to toe the slab and hopefully get his first win as a San Diego Padre.
All right, here is our pitching matchup in the opening game of the series. It is Edwin Jackson for the Arizona Diamondbacks. He is 1-1, swings a big bat too, had a home run the last game against John Garland, looking for his first win as a San Diego Padre. And the pitching matchup is brought to you by Papa John's. Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's. A cool night in San Diego. The right-handed veteran John Garland loosening up against Jackson of Arizona. The Padres defense takes the field. A reminder, don't let termites steal home, especially your home. Call Corky's at 1-800-901-1102. Corky's. Well, it's a typical April-May evening here in San Diego with a cool breeze off the water, and that tends to support the ground ball pitcher, and the Padres acquiring John Garland because not only his ability to pitch in many games, he's worked in the top 10 in the last several years in terms of appearances and wins, all those statistics, and when he's right, he keeps the ball on the ground.
I'm really anxious to watch John Garland this evening, and here's why. Spring training, Arizona. You open the year, Arizona. Then his next start, Colorado. You talk about elevation. You take a look at his numbers. I think pitching at Petco Park is suited for John Garland, and hopefully these numbers go down for John Garland, and you get a little one in that record column. His first victory of the year.
Other half of the equation, in his 10 innings of work, the Padres have scored a total of only 2 runs. Maybe better tonight. Connor Jackson, the first baseman, big right-handed batter, 265, and we're underway at Petco with a called strike. Jackson hitting 265. Big man that can lead off, knows the strike zone well. 1-1 with Stephen Drew and Justin Upton to follow. Upton with 3 home runs, Reynolds with 3 next, then Kelly Johnson with 3, Chris Young with 3, all in order. Jackson is yet to hit a home run. Stephen Drew has a couple. He's on deck. The other number 1 rating of this Diamondback team, as Jackson takes low 3-1, is they see an average, it doesn't sound like much, an average of 4.06 pitches per plate appearance as you look at A.J. Hinch, their young skipper. And that's the most in the National League. Jackson now has seen 5 pitches work the count full. I would have thought it higher than 4 pitches on an average per plate appearance.
Yeah, you look at a team like the Arizona Diamondbacks with that power. If you take more pitches, chances are
over but low, and the leadoff man on with a walk.
You will work the count in your favor. You get a good pitch to hit, and that's one of the reasons why I think you see the home runs. They're taking advantage of those bad pitches.
Stephen Drew, the shortstop, has had considerable success against the man he faces tonight, John Garland. 5 for 9 and a couple of home runs, including one inside the park opening day in Phoenix. Another pitch out of the strike zone. Drew hitting .314, a couple of home runs and 6 runs batted in. So that leadoff walk can come back to bite you. There's the strike. 91 on the meter.
You saw that sinker on the outside part of the plate to Stephen Drew. That's John Garland's bread and butter. And believe me, if he has that on, it's almost like hitting a shot put. The infielders will be very busy. You'll see some double plays. And once a pitcher gets that feel of that two-seamer, that's fun pitching at this level, getting those grounders, have some quick innings, get back in the dugout.
This one is high in the air, right center field and shallow. 3 Padres converge. It's Eckstein in front of the 2 outfielders, Hairston and Venable, to make the catch. Well, here is the lineup card of A.J. Hinch. Starting with Jackson and Drew, then Upton, who steps in now. Mark Reynolds with 44 home runs a year ago. Kelly Johnson had a couple of home runs in a game at Arizona against the Padres. Chris Young has a grand slammer already this year. Gerardo Parra hitting 7th. Chris Snyder behind the plate and Edwin Jackson on the mound. Snyder's going to see much more duty now that Miguel Montero, injured knee, has required knee surgery. He's going to be out 4 to 6 weeks, and that takes a good left-handed bat out of the lineup for Arizona. Upton leading the team in runs scored, but also in striking out. 3 home runs this year. Hit his third home run, Mark. Hit his third last night at Dodger Stadium.
We saw a long look from Upton down to Bo Porter, and then the first base coach, Matt Williams, talking to Jackson at first. You never know, you might have something on right here.
Upton with power, but also runs very well. And again, over the plate, but low.
Third base coach Bo Porter flashing the signs.
Two and 0. Heard that little noise from down the dugout. May be a little cue for the defense to look out for the hit and run here.
Throw over here? No.
There's a high strike.
Yeah, every umpire is different. And tonight, behind home plate, it looks like the umpire, Dana DeMuth, has a high strike zone. Correction, Tom Hallion. I sit corrected. Tom Hallion behind the dish tonight.
The crew chief in his 17th year in the National League. Worked the World Series 2 years ago. Garland trying to keep the runner Connor Jackson close. The action pitch here, 2-1. See if A.J. Hinch has something working.
Now, with that sinker of Garland, you see that big hole on the right side. It's tough to inside out that pitch to hit that hole. John Garland wants to maybe get a grounder to the left side and maybe turn two. David Eckstein is nearly playing really close to second base. To give you an idea, look at that hole on the right side.
Partially Eckstein in double play position, but more the fact they're playing Upton to pull straight away in the outfield, but on the infield around toward left. Garland, a watchful eye on the runner.
Remember, we made the point earlier, Dave Roberts taught the runners to keep the eye on the pitcher at all times. Looked like Connor Jackson at first base. He was kind of leading off and taking his eye off the pitcher and looking in at home plate, looking to see where the plate was and the hitter. The plate and the hitter have been there for over 120 years. I don't know why he's would be looking into home plate.
Maybe looking for a confirmation from the hitter that he knows the hit and run's on.
There he is looking again.
Broken bat, roller. No chance for a double play across Cabrera for the out. Two away with Connor Jackson moving to second as we take a look at the Padres defensive lineup, brought to you by Tiger Turf. Tiger up your lawn with Tiger Turf, the world's best-selling synthetic turf. Visit mytigerturf.com today. Headley, Cabrera, Eckstein, and Gonzalez on the infield. Blanks and left. Scott Hairston gets the start in center field tonight. Venable in right, with a battery of Garland and Hundley. Mark Reynolds, the third baseman, hitting just 152 early. 3 for 7 lifetime against Garland with a home run. Again on the plate, but low. Well documented. Reynolds with all those home runs, but also set a major league record most times striking out a year ago. Fouled at the plate. 223 times he saw that K by his name.
Dick, you mentioned he's hitting 152, and you know as well as anybody, players can be superstitious. Looks like Mark Reynolds may be trying to turn things around. He's wearing the high pants with the Red Sox. In Arizona, he had the white unis. He had the pants all the way down. So he's going old school tonight with the 3/4 high top shoes, showing off those calves, trying to turn things around.
Well, maybe, makes his strike zone a little higher there. Gets that low pitch to be called a ball. This one is hit to center field, and Hairston comes in to make the catch, and the inning is over. So John Garland pitches out of a opening base on balls to Connor Jackson. We go to the bottom of the first. The Padres coming up. Tonight, this SAP broadcast brought to you by Carl's Jr. Try the Big Country breakfast burrito with eggs, hash browns, and savory sausage gravy. Ev Cabrera leads it off for San Diego, hitting .231. But for the taste of the skipper, too many strikeouts for Cabrera. 12 times he's fanned in 9 games. Up there and takes the strike.
And we all know that Ever Cabrera has the speed, hit the ball on the line and on the ground. I've been a firm believer there are no bad hops in the air. Keep the ball out of the air.
You could have been a physicist. You're amazing. You had the day off and
I'm fresh and froggy.
Come in with stuff. You go right the back of the textbook. We're not talking about the primer here. You're right back to where the questions for the final. No bad hops in the air. Like it.
It is teacher's night too, by the way.
That is, and we're going to talk about that. Up and in, 2-1. Eckstein and Gonzalez to follow here as the Padres have their first at bat. Edwin Jackson, 26 years of age, came over to Arizona from the Tigers. 3-corner swap that also involved the Yankees. He misses 3-1, so a chance for Cabrera to get aboard. He was 13-9 last year with the Bengals. Fine ERA of 3.62 and made the All-Star team, American League, for the first time.
I like that. The nickname for the Tigers, the Bengals. Love that.
Ball 4. So each pitcher walks the leadoff man in the first inning. Now let's take a look at the Padres lineup. Brought to you by Alpine Rock and Block. You can start your next backyard project with Alpine Rock and Block. Cabrera, Eckstein, Gonzalez, the middle of the order. Chase Headley moving up to the cleanup spot with Venable hitting 5th. Blanks goes from 4th to 6th tonight. Scott Hairston for Tony Gwynn in center field. Hundley hits 8th, and the pitcher Garland. Toughest man in the league to strike out, David Eckstein. In fact, he has not struck out in 31 appearances. And that's best in the National League to start this year.
This is the exact type of situation the Padres need to try to get this team going against this Arizona Diamondback team this weekend. Lead runner gets on base, and then you've got a guy like Eckstein who's got great bat control. Try to first and third him right here. Put some pressure on Jackson.
Cabrera, a good lead, and he has to hurry to get back. A good throw over there by Jackson.
You know, one of the reasons why Edwin Jackson was so successful last year is because he threw strikes. He commanded the strike zone. As we take a look at the throw, probably not his A move, but he only walked 70 batters in 214 innings. That's pretty darn good. And not off to a good start tonight, walking Cabrera.
9-inning game, just 3 walks a game. That is a good average. So the challenging lead by Cabrera already grabbing the attention not only of the pitcher Jackson but the entire defense for Arizona, and that's part of the game plan and being aggressive on the bases. Quick again, and there's some good coaching over there from Rick Renteria to get his runner back in time.
And Jackson varying his moves as well. That one he was kind of coming up into the set position and then moved before he became set. Rick Renteria, a student of really reading opposing pitchers.
Look at that focus on the pitcher. He won't blink an eye. There's a strike, and 1-1 to Eckstein. Tomorrow will be fun for Eckstein. It's bobblehead, right? Tomorrow night.
Right.
Yeah, you
right.
get the free bobblehead. I asked him what he thought. He said, I like the way they have my, when he blows, exhales and puffs up his cheeks.
The blowfish look,
yeah. That's on the bobblehead. Got to get one.
Right there when he did it,
Cabrera was leaning toward second base on that occasion. But he's got it measured. He's got that 2 steps and a dive lead. 1-2 dive. It's a great study, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Inside, 2-1. And what can happen in this situation with so much focus on the base runner. Jackson may be hurrying his pitches to the plate, not picking up his spot.
I remember pitching against guys like Vince Coleman, Willie McGee.
Ooh.
Yeah, they got your attention over there at first base. And that meant a lot of fastballs to the heart of the order for those St. Louis Cardinals. Maybe Eckstein can get a fastball here, 2-1, to go the opposite way.
Runner goes, ground ball to third. Diving Reynolds, stopped from his knees, makes the play. On to second on the putout goes Cabrera. So a chance for the Padres. Two hitters will come up here with a man in scoring position.
So even though David Eckstein makes an out, the runner's going. So what do? What's the main objective when the runner's going? To hit and run, hit the ball on the ground. Hitting into the air does you no good. You move up and leave it to Eck, our little mascot. He got the job done getting that guy over and on that. That was a breaking ball, by the way. 2-1 breaking ball from Edwin Jackson.
Adrian Gonzalez hitting .364. Good start of the year. 2 home runs, 5 runs batted in. He fouls it away. With a runner on second, the Diamondbacks can't employ a full shift on Gonzalez. The shortstop drew about 10 feet to the shortstop side, playing almost directly behind second base. Big hole between Reynolds at third and Drew deep behind the bag at second. One strike pitch. Low. The appeal at third, and Todd Tishner says no, he did not go around.
Started off Adrian with a fastball right down the middle, and that looked like a changeup. Jackson throws a fastball, slider, and a changeup. He'll pretty much throw fastballs 85–90% of the time. But if his slider is right, he gets locked in, he could be very nasty out there.
1-1 pitch is driven high out of play off the facing of the third deck. It'll be a special night tomorrow night, along with all the activities. Bobblehead night. Adrian's going to receive his second Gold Glove. Be part of the ceremony. Come on out. Good tickets still available. And first 25,000 fans get the David Eckstein bobblehead doll. So Jackson ahead on the count, a ball and 2 strikes. Cabrera a short lead because he's got Drew right behind him. Little bluff by Jackson. Safe lead Cabrera. 1 out. The pitch. 2-2. Chase Headley on deck for San Diego. Well, here's that situation. Not 2 outs with a runner in scoring position. Padres took full advantage, of course, on opening night when they scored 17 runs. Anyone on had a good chance of coming home. But the other 8 games of the season, that has not been the case. 2-2. Way outside. Jackson struggling. Walks Cabrera. Went to 2-2 on Eckstein, and now 3-2 on Gonzalez.
You might see a little wrinkle in this pitch, 3-2 with first base open instead of force at any base. You might see a fastball off the plate, but Adrian's just too good. I mean, he knows the situation. He knows that Headley's on deck, and sure, you know, Headley's got the good average. But with one swing of the bat, Gonzalez has a greater chance of hitting the ball out of the ballpark. I don't think he's going to get much to hit here.
Hit foul, slicing back into the crowd, a breaking ball. And a souvenir down there in the corner.
Here's the wrinkle I was talking about, 3-2. He wanted it, you know, he may have gotten away with the pitch.
Yes,
because
he did. Look at that.
Snyder's glove was down and away, and that ball was right down Tony Gwynn Drive.
Sweet. Three and two again. 15 pitches already for Jackson, first inning. That one's inside. So pitching around Adrian Gonzalez, and that's going to be a problem all season long, as it was last year, that he has to be patient because the opposing pitchers aren't going to throw him many good pitches.
That's why the guys behind him and guys get on base and guys behind Adrian Gonzalez have to get hot.
As soon as they do, then they're going to have to pitch to Adrian Gonzalez. Here's the defense for the D-backs. Reynolds, Drew, Johnson, Jackson on the infield with Parra in left tonight. Young in center, Upton the right fielder. Snyder behind the plate. Edwin Jackson, born in Germany, high school in Columbus, Georgia, on the mound. Headley takes a strike. Big moment in the 6-2 loss last night to Atlanta. Bases loaded, 2-0 to Headley, and he hit an absolute bullet headed toward right field, but went directly to first baseman Troy Gloss. 5-10 feet either way. It's a 3-run base hit, and who knows what the final score would be. Fouls this one at the plate, or maybe didn't get a piece of it. The way catcher Snyder scrambled after it. 0-2.
Oh, the effectiveness of the breaking ball. Edwin Jackson, the first pitch of this at bat, a breaking ball right over the middle of the plate, and that ball there, he's going to bury it because now Headley's saying to himself, you know what, he threw that breaking ball for a strike. If I see it again, there's a pretty good chance it's going to be a strike, but clearly out of the zone. He bounced it up there.
Headley leading the Padres in hits with 14 thus far, and a .378 average. 2 on, 1 out here in the bottom of the first inning. No score. Bounces it again. Well, he figured if he's going to swing at it, bounce straight off home plate, I'll throw it even 3 feet in front of home plate. And Snyder might have caught that one off the wrist, the way he's taking that glove off.
So you want to be a catcher, huh? Taking it off the wrist, off the chest, off the mask, off the toe.
And yet that's the quickest ticket to the big leagues.
Absolutely.
That cry has gone on for generations.
Hey, if you can catch and throw and you hit, what, 230?
Have a career.
Yep.
1-2 to Headley. Jams him, fouled out of play. He didn't get the heavy end around on that one.
Hey, Edwin Jackson knows that Chase Headley is swinging the bat well. Coming in today's game, hitting .378. A lot of guys hit like that because they can adjust to pitches in and away, get their arms extended. Jackson tries to bury a fastball right into the hands of Chase Headley.
Chase, going into last night's game, had an 8-game hitting streak, lined out twice, went 0 for 4. Broken bat roller to second. They get a force at second, but Headley able to leg out the fielder's choice, safe at first base as Cabrera moves to third. Brings up Will Venable.
Oh, this is music to a pitcher's ears. The broken shillelagh snap.
Chatting with Tony Gwynn about these maple bats and how easily they're broken. And he said one of his National League batting title years, he used the same bat all season.
Unbelievable.
Will Venable, .265, leads in home runs with 3 and RBIs with 8. Has a chance here, first and third, 2 outs. Just off the inside corner. Headley diving back. Cabrera leaning toward the plate. Against Jackson in Arizona. Here's Venable. That would play rather nicely here, wouldn't it, in the first inning?
It would, and you know what? That looked like a slider down and in. I'll bet you a dime to donuts that he does not try to throw that pitch to William Venable here in San Diego. Keep the ball away from him.
There it is, away, ball 2, 2-0 with Kyle Blanks on deck. Trying to take some pressure off Blanks. Randy Reddy saying, it's nothing to do with his swing. We're not tinkering around, telling him to do something different with his approach. Just, hey, he's a young guy hitting cleanup, trying to perhaps do too much. So he's hitting in that 6-hole tonight. 2-0. Grounded softly to second. Easy play. And throwing out the runner is Kelly Johnson over to Connor Jackson. And Padres leave 2 at the corners. Padres do. Come get your free Padres pennant. Enjoy watching San Diego and Arizona play this Sunday at 1:05, gang. All kids 14 and younger receive a great Padres pennant presented by Bank of America. Visit Padres.com or call 619-795-5555 to get your tickets.
You got to have a pennant hanging on your wall at home, don't you?
Doesn't every kid, huh?
I had one.
I did too. So each team with a chance in the first inning due to the wildness of the pitcher. A couple of walks, Padres couldn't take advantage, and a leadoff walk for Arizona, but he dies at first base. 1 ball, 1 strike. Kelly Johnson. He had a couple of home runs in Arizona. Swing and a miss off speed. Those came against Kevin Correa and Sean Gallagher. Hitting .360. Inside, 2-2. Johnson, Chris Young, Gerardo Parra here in the Arizona top of the second inning. Fouled out of play. Ooh, that crashes into the auxiliary scoreboard off the first deck. And John Garland trying to snap a personal losing streak, losing the first 2 this year. He lost the last 2 a year ago with the Dodgers. So 4 in a row. Close, but no call. 3-2. Chopped out to the mound. Easy play for Garland. Tosses to Gonzalez. 1 away. So far, both pitchers getting out. Sounds like the bat rack is full of the Sunday Tribune. You know, they're swinging that.
We haven't heard a ball. I know it's early, but A lot of balls off the end of the bat. Guys are getting jammed. That was a beautiful pitch right there by John Garland. Down and in, 3-2. Johnson has to protect, but staying out of the heart of the plate.
Chris Young off to a good start this year after he labored last season. That's a strike. 351 he's hitting with 3 home runs. He leads the Diamondbacks with 14 runs batted in. That's among the league leaders early. Last year hitting around 200, sent back to the minors. Off speed, 1-1.
Yeah, that looks like a pretty good pitch from Garland. I want that one called a strike. Take a look at the tracks. That's a strike.
There's a fastball for a strike, 1-2. John, 5 years ago, part of the White Sox World Series team, worked 1 game, no decision against Houston. 18-10 that year. Another one chopped at the plate. Came back in 2006, had another 18-win year. And since 2002, he qualifies in that category, workhorse, 6th in major league starts, 261 starts, 6th most in the big leagues. He answers the call. Boy, Young has taken a couple pitches that have been tight.
It's a tough pitch to lay off. That's a nice short breaking ball, a little slider off the plate, maybe a little cutter. Looks more like a slider.
3-2. Looped back out of play.
He made a quality, a slider down and away, right? You get him leaning a little bit. So what does Garland do? He buried the 2-seamer on the inside part of the plate and tied him up nicely. But Young making contact, fouling it off to stay alive.
Studying Hundley's sign. 2-2 the count. Young steps out for a moment. Garland in Colorado, his last outing, very deliberate. There's strike 3, and emphatically called by Tom Hallion. First strikeout for John Garland.
Remember earlier I said the high strike? That's a legitimate strike. And then Tom Hallion, one of the best calls ever.
Boy, he called that one as if a bumblebee got him. It was
the left-handed uppercut. Did you see that? Right to the chin.
I like that. Let us know what you're calling. Some of the strike calls, umpires are so subtle, and if they hold the fist in front of them, we can't even see if they've called it a strike unless you hear verbally their call. And Hallion's barking them out and gesticulating well. There's a line drive slicing into left toward the gap. Banks can't get there. And so Blanks goes to the wall to dig it out, and into second, a double for Gerardo Parra. Hitting only 182 coming in. Parra finds the hole between left and center. First hit of the game.
The Arizona Diamondbacks are going to have to pick up some slack. And the reason why I say that is because Miguel Montero blew out his knee, and he's not going to be around for a while. We mentioned that a little earlier. So other guys in the lineup will have to pick up some slack. Parra does a nice job on that. Breaking ball taken it the opposite way. A key 2-out knock for Arizona.
Brings up catcher Chris Snyder, hitting 8th. 294 is average with a home run, 6 runs batted in. 5 games this year, but he's going to be playing much more regularly. He was going to be the number 2 catcher behind Montero, but now has to assume that vital role as the regular catcher. Ball in the dirt, gets away from Hundley, and Parra easily moves to third. Wild pitch.
It looked like he yanked a slider. Ball just crept right up out of the glove of Nick Hundley.
That's the toughest for the catcher, that ball bouncing in the dirt, swinging him out to his right, where you don't want to backhand it.
Right.
You're trying to get in front of the ball. Strike. 1-1.
It shows me something. John Garland going right back to that same pitch that he spiked in the dirt.
And at third, Para, 1-1 with 2 outs. Ball inside, 2-1. Snyder bouncing back from a severe back injury last year that put him on the bench for 3 months. 2-1. Right. Pretty good looking pitch to hit.
Once again, a high slider. Wasn't really a hanger. It was on the outer part of the plate. If you take a look, that's belt buckle high, a little lower.
Big hole in left center there, swung around toward right in the outfield for Snyder as he steps out. Native of Houston, Texas is Snyder. Garland working from the stretch, looks over at Para. And the count is full. First base open. Jackson, the pitcher, due next, but Edwin Jackson can swing the lumber.
He looks like a hitter, doesn't he?
He does. Padres had that big 10-run inning on opening day on their way to a 17-2 win. Well, Arizona did them better. They had a 13-run inning on Sunday against Pittsburgh. And Jackson was right in the thick of that inning with 2 hits, one of them a home run. But first, Snyder, 3-2. Foul back to the screen.
Well, he had him set up nicely. That looked like a changeup from John Garland. The fastball count geared for the heater. And the change of pace.
Two innings, and Garland's pitch count is already up to 38. Both men struggling a bit with the strike zone. 3-2 outside, ball 4. So the pitcher Jackson does come up on the second walk from Garland. And that 13-run go-around for Arizona on Sunday against Pittsburgh. His first time up, he singled Jackson. Second time up, crushed a 2-run home run.
You might see a first pitch breaking ball here to Jackson.
He's got to feel like, hey, I belong in the lineup. Let me hit.
Man, that's a nasty sinker. If John Garland really has a sinker working, it's one of those situations where I feel you really can't nitpick. Because if you aim for the corner, it's going to be way off the plate. I think he's got such a good sinker that he can aim for the middle of the plate, about mid-thigh high, and let the ball do the work. And he'll get some grounders.
1-1. That one spotted knee high on the corner.
Nick Hundley getting these signs from the 8-time All-Star catcher Ted Simmons.
1-1, and there's a fly ball to left center. Hairston racing in and makes the catch. Diamondbacks out. No runs, a hit. Waste a double. 2 men left. No score. Get to the ballpark early. The first 25,000 of you will receive the David Eckstein bobblehead doll presented by Cox Channel 4 San Diego. There's going to be 5 bobbleheads this season. We saw the other 4, and it's a nice collection. So you be sure to get that first one, Eckstein, tomorrow night. Call 619-795-5555 or visit Padres.com to get your tickets.
And they're quality bobbleheads, too. They're not the cheapies now. They're the good ones.
We looked at all. There's a beach towel promotion coming up, and
my scarf. They got my scarf this year.
Look good, huh? And they've gone the extra mile here to bring a quality gift to you on the many nights where the Padres are presenting something special to their fans. And this is the second most affordable ticket in all of Major League Baseball. Dropped all the prices, including concessions. Here's Blanks. Right down the middle for a called strike. Kyle, his average dipping down to 188. Couple of home runs. 1-1.
Sometimes pitchers are so good with location of their pitches. You might get one good pitch to hit an at-bat, especially from a good big league pitcher. The first pitch was a great pitch for Kyle. Now let's see if Jackson kind of nitpicks a little bit and throws some breaking balls. Yep.
Here it is.
First pitch was right down the middle. Second pitch in the dirt a little bit. You going to bite at it? Nope. Here's the breaking ball. And Kyle finds himself behind 1-2.
Another bouncer. Headley went after a ball in the dirt as well. That one hit the right field base hit. A 1-2 pitch, and Blanks takes it the other way for the first San Diego hit.
Dr. Enberg, I have a question for you. Why would you throw Kyle Blanks a fastball right there, that much of the plate? I mean, he swung at a break. And good for Kyle Blanks staying on that baseball with 2 strikes and spanking it the other way rather than trying to muscle it up and pull it. That's a good at-bat. Being in the hole, 1-2.
Well, how many times throughout your baseball life have you heard that if you're not hitting well, crowd the plate, hit the ball the other way. Right. See it later. See it. Take it that way. Blanks, solid single. Here's Scotty Hairston, center fielder, hitting .214. Had a 3-run home run on the road. Outside for a ball. Big man with the 88 on his back. Kyle Blanks, he can run, and Jackson letting him know that he can't have too big a lead. Hairston's home run came against Ian Kennedy in the 3rd game in the Arizona series, and at the time it gave Padres a 3-1 lead. There's a strike. But in the end, it was Arizona winning at 5-3. As they use the home run ball, Kelly Johnson hit 2. Chris Young and Justin Upton also homered in that game.
There's a Scott Harrison fan. Could be a Jerry Harrison. Well, no, number 12. Okay, I got you. I'm working with you, kiddo.
Fastball. Threw it right by. Yeah. Yes, he did take a little bit off that. The scoreboard calling that a curveball. One and two. No one out. Blanks with his lead at first base. Struck him out with another breaking ball. First strikeout for Edwin Jackson. Brings up the catcher Nick Hundley, batting 8th tonight.
This one he buries. The one before that was a hanger, and Scott Harrison couldn't catch up to it. So once again, Edwin Jackson making a nice adjustment with that breaking ball down out of the zone.
Like Garland, a lot of pitches used early by Jackson, already 32 and just one out here in the second.
That's a good point, because Edwin Jackson, the book on him throughout his career has been, you can look up in the 5th inning if he's in the game and he'll be around 100 pitches, throwing a lot of pitches.
It doesn't correlate. Have a good batting practice and then you have a great game. Just like in basketball, you hit everything in practice and you can't hit the backboard in the game. Nevertheless, Hundley had a terrific batting practice tonight. He was hitting bullets all over the yard. Maybe that'll carry over.
You know, a lot of fans ask me about batting practice. Why don't the coaches throw breaking balls and, you know, curve balls and stuff like that? Well, first of all, I think it'd be tough to find a coach to do that, because not too many people can do that. You know, the arms, but they don't throw batting practice that hard. They just want to get their rhythm and see the ball and hit to all fields. And you're right. It's a different story when you got that 85-mile-an-hour slider biting.
That ball is low, 1-1. And in fact, through the years, it used to be that in batting practice, most all the pitchers threw from the rubber. Now they put the screen up right at the lower level of the mound, so they're really only throwing from about 50 feet away from the batter, just so that they can get more velocity, or at least it's the ball's coming in quicker to the hitter to give him a better feel for the fastballs he'll see in the regular game. 1-1, swung on and missed. That one was juiced up to 93 miles an hour.
I remember talking to some of the old timers, guys that played back in, like, you know, even the 40s and 50s, to where pitchers, if it was their throwing day on the side, they would throw batting practice, as you mentioned, from the rubber and work on some things to where the hitters would see some live hitting, or some live pitching rather than just laying it in there.
The 1-2 pitch in the dirt. Boy, that has just become commonplace now, that when the hitter falls behind, he's going to get that slider or curveball, and most often it's going to be a ball bouncing right at his ankles. And if you're going to fish, as a couple of Padres have already tonight, you're going to see some more. Hundley lays off. 2-2. One out. Blanks at first. Pulled foul. Round out, it'll be Kevin Correa, the winner on opening day here on Monday against Kurt Benson, just called up from Reno, top minor league team for Arizona. Ground ball toward the hole. Drew to second for one. Johnson back to first. Double play. Quick turn at the Keystone. 6-4-3. No score after 2 in San Diego. Ready.com, because ready feels good. Well, this date in history, 60 years ago, 70 years ago, Rapid Robert Feller, Bob Feller from Van Meter, Iowa, tosses the only opening day no-hitter in Major League history. 1-0 over the White Sox. And magic of television, black and white, Feller fires that high fastball. Look at how they dress.
I love
men
that.
with a shirt and tie and coat and hat. Bob Feller, the Hall of Famer, is still very much alive.
The heater from Van Meter.
You got it. First pitch to open the top of the third. The leadoff man, Connor Jackson, is out of the strike zone. He walked the first time up. Two and 0.
And you know what, Dick, you and I had a meeting before the game and we talked about how we're going to honor the military before every game here in San Diego. Bob Feller served his country for many years.
So many of those guys did in World War II, including our own Jerry Coleman in the booth next door, as well as the Korean War, the Thumper, the Splinter, Ted Williams. Pulled foul, and it's part of why baseball is timeless and it goes so easily. The transition generation to generation is that a Robert Feller in his day is the man with a hang on the star, Jerry Coleman. In his day, he threw that fastball as well as anyone throws a fastball today. I mean, if they're throwing 95 to 98, Feller did. Walter Johnson did. Didn't need a gun to measure it either. Mark Grant didn't. I said didn't.
Right.
2-2 to Connor Jackson, leading off the third. Fouled off the head of the bat. And so many of the Major League stars throughout World War I and World War II, and then the Korean War, answering the call by Uncle Sam, serving our country. Another foul. Tough to get the ball by Jackson.
Yes, it is. And not your prototypical leadoff hitter, Connor Jackson. He's not that little pest like from that just slaps at the ball to try to put the ball in play. He's got some power in his bat.
And from Cal Berkeley, choking up a little here, 2-2, and hits this one to third, backhand, and then Headley can't make the play. Had it, and in the transition, the bobble. That's going to be his fourth error of the season, and not to throw any undue blame on Headley. Kevin Kuzman off the entire last year. Now they've changed. The official score first called it an error, and now a base hit. That's pretty generous scoring.
Yeah, and you know what? You asked Chase Headley, should he have made that play? He knocked it down, and as you mentioned, he just couldn't find the handle. A very makeable play. Sure, it was hit hard, but he knocked it down, had it in his grasp, and then lost it.
So the second hit for Arizona. Jackson with the infield base hit. That brings up Stephen Drew. Talk about a tough out. This man, he did pop up to second out in shallow right field the first time. Leadoff man on again for Arizona. Tough man to double up the left-handed hitting Drew. Two and 0. This Arizona ball club leading the National League in home runs with 16, and they've hit a home run in 7 consecutive games. Only 35, the skipper, H.A. Hinch, down in the red jacket of the Diamondbacks. Red has served him well. Almost the same color red up at Stanford for 4 years.
Oh, that's right, the Cardinal.
Where he was an All-America catcher. 2-0. Misses low. And John Garland working his way into a jam here in the top of the third. The infield hit. Jackson over there at first, and now 3-0 the count. And the count of pitches up over 50 already. And the big home run hitters coming up. Upton, Reynolds, and Johnson. Oh, swinging 3-0.
He's just trying to get that pitch over. It was a two-seamer. I was kind of surprised he swung at that pitch. If taken, I thought that ball may have been ball 4, but it was to his liking.
Three and one, no, over to first base. The Diamondbacks got in late last night. They played extra innings again. They played back-to-back extra inning games up at Dodger Stadium and lost a tough one in 10, 6-5. So they're now 5-4 on the season. San Francisco leading the way 7-2. But the Dodgers are pounding on the Giants tonight in the second inning. The Dodgers lead 7-0 over San Francisco. Atlanta has defeated Colorado 9-5.
Boy, the pace has just slowed down here in this inning. John Garland being very deliberate out there on the mound.
Colorado now 5-5. If the Dodgers win, they'll be 5-5. All that weight and ball 4. So infield hit and the third walk from Garland. 2 on, no one out in the Arizona third. Darren Balsley, the pitching coach, and Bud Black there on the bench for San Diego in the first base dugout. It doesn't matter what level you're talking about in baseball. This level, the major league level, all the way down college, high school, little league, just a slow game with walks is just torture for the men in charge. Infield hoping they'll get a double play chance. Justin Upton grounded to short his first time up. Ball 1.
So one of the things John Garland was working on in between starts, talked to Darren Balsley about it. It says sometimes John has a tendency, like all pitchers, they have a tendency to guide the baseball a little bit rather than just throwing it. And I said, well, how do you correct that? He said, just as you said, just throw it. You got to be confident and get that arm in a good position and throw that baseball rather than get it out in front, kind of guide it a little bit. You won't get the same action.
Don't aim.
Exactly. Perfect. And every pitcher goes through it at times.
1-0, and this ball is hit hard to center, but Hairston is right there, tagging, but holding at second base is Jackson. Well, Garland gets up into line to center, and that brings up third baseman Mark Reynolds with 2 on and 1 out.
You know, that pitch was hit well, but right at Scott Hairston. But John Garland, that last pitch, it looked like he really got through that ball. He threw it rather than trying to guide it a little bit. See him get up on top and then that arm speed out in front and through. Sometimes it's almost like guys throwing darts. You know, you're short with your arm action rather than coming through it.
Reynolds, he flied to Hairston in center his first time up. Good stop by Hundley. That ball tough to dig out of the dirt.
This looked like a fastball as well. Moving laterally to his right, keeping the shoulders square to the infield, because if it hits you in the chest, you want it to bounce right out in front of you. If you get a little bit of an angle, that ball's going to carry him off towards the on-deck circle.
And with the smallest of gloves employed by baseballers, able to pocket that one cleanly. This one grounded, foul. Weekend of baseball for you at Petco with Arizona here tonight. Tomorrow 5:35. Sunday game at 1:05. And then the Gigantics come to town Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Bochy's crew losing to the Dodgers tonight, but 7-2 on top of the National League West. 1-1. This one fouled away. Teachers Night, San Diego County District Teachers of the Year here, a pregame show, and it was fun listening to our teachers talk about their passion for what they do. As they say, it's something about being teaching the noble profession. That's where else do you have such splendid company as with other teachers? Popped up. Hundley, mask off, has a play. 2 away. So a 2-on, no one out. Garland gets Upton to line to center, and Reynolds to pop out to catcher Hundley. Here's Kelly Johnson.
And I don't have to tell you, that's a huge out. You know that Mark Reynolds strikes out quite a bit, but if he makes contact, there's a good chance he can put a charge into one. He made contact on that one. He fouled out. Big out.
Johnson tapped out to Garland his first time up. On the edge. Slider. Jackson at second, Drew at first. 2 gone. Here in the top of the third. That one just inside. Kelly Johnson, 10 years in the Atlanta Braves organization, migrating to the Southwest in Arizona this year. Foul. 1-2. Last year with the Braves, he hit .325 against lefties, 188 against right-handed hitters, the right-handed pitchers. You would figure it to be the other way around, wouldn't you? One and 2. And that misses inside. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, 2 on here in the third. Johnson's best effort with Atlanta was 2 years ago. He had .287 with a dozen home runs. 69 runs batted in, playing in the lineup for Bobby Cox. That's in the dirt. Full count. Runners will be off. 3-2 and 2 outs here in the third.
This is where the outfielders maybe kind of change their position a little bit, because you see that Scott Harrison kind of moved over towards the second base side of second base in center field.
And back a couple of steps. Full count. Runners go.
From a little wrinkle, 3-2. Flipped up a slider, it looked like. He also throws a short cutter as well. Sinker, slider, cutter, curveball, and a changeup from Garland.
Long and lean, 6'6" is Garland. Like so many of the Padres pitchers, tall. The runners go again and again. A foul ball back to the screen. They'll do the U-turn.
Wear him out a little bit, huh? Get him huffing and puffing. So on an extra base hit, if in fact they do get an extra base hit, that guy from first can't score.
Meanwhile, spoiling a couple of pitches here. Kelly Johnson has run the count. Garland now has thrown 67 pitches in 3 innings. Bullpen's going to get the call early tonight. 3-2 again. And the bases are loaded. The appeal, but Johnson did not go around. So an infield hit, a couple more walks. That's 4 free passes from Garland, and that'll bring the pitching coach Bowlesley out to the mound.
Well, I can't read minds, but one of the things I think tonight, when you look at John Garland and the way he's throwing the baseball, I'm just talking about his stuff. His sinker's moving quite a bit. I mean, it's moving like one of those wiffle balls back in the yard back when you were a kid. And sometimes I think, as I mentioned before, when you try to hit the outside corner, try to hit the inside corner, the ball's moving so much that it moves out of the zone.
So 68 pitches for Garland, 30 of them balls, only 38 strikes. And now he's got the bases full with 2 out. And Chris Young hitting .351, leading this team in RBIs with 14. He has a grand slam this year. And here's another chance to punish the Padres should he get a hold of one. Ball 1. Slider missing low and away. Sean Gallagher is the first to get up in the Padre bullpen. Ball 2.
Another slider.
Chris Young in a position now where he can think about a pitch he would like to take a rip at with the bases loaded and 2-0. You've got to figure Garland's got to come in with a good strike. He doesn't. Misses low. 3-0.
That's the 8th 3-ball count tonight for John Garland.
Garland now walking the tightrope, a pitch away from donating a run on walks to Arizona. 3-0. Here it comes. Ball 4. Didn't throw him a strike, and the Arizona Diamondbacks lead it 1-0 on the 5th walk of the evening by Garland. Jackson scores. Runners move up. So an infield hit, a play that Chase Headley normally would make at third. And that was followed by walks to Drew, Johnson, and Young for a run. That run probably won't beat you, but you're in a position now where Parra, who doubled to left center field the last time up, could really put some hurt on Garland, who throws another ball.
Not getting ahead with the fastball, not getting ahead with the breaking ball, living dangerously tonight, John Garland.
There's a strike.
I know we've seen a lot of 3-ball counts. We've seen 5 walks, but you look at the big picture, it's only 1-0. Make a pitch here. You get out of this mess. Take your chances in the bottom half of the 3rd inning.
Found the strike zone with that last one. Here comes the 1-1. Grounded into right field for a base hit. 2 Diamondbacks will score on a single by Parra. He's 2 for 2, and it's a 3-0 game. Had 2 RBIs in the first 9 games of the season. He has a couple tonight on one swing. So the walks come back to haunt Black, the Padres, and Garland. Drew scoring from third, and Kelly Johnson from second.
Trying to locate the sinker there, and finds a hole. And when you see a lot of pitches, getting behind. Bo Porter wearing out that shoulder. And the number 7 spot for the Diamondbacks tonight. Parra having a good night.
A double and a single for Parra, 2 of the 3 Arizona hits. And here's Chris Snyder with runners at first and third. Still 2 out. He walked the first time up. Strike. 76th pitch of the game from Garland. This inning, big right-hander has thrown 34 pitches, 17 of them balls. 18. Pitcher Edwin Jackson would be next.
You know, some of those nights you just don't feel it, and you've got to battle and battle and battle. Sometimes you find it, sometimes you don't. Even the great ones. John Garland just looked like he doesn't have the touch.
Chopped to third. This is a tough play for Headley. He gets him, and the inning is finally over. But Arizona gets a gift inning. 3 runs on 2 hits and a walk. Well, an ugly inning in the third for the Padres and pitcher John Garland. It started with a ball that might well have been an out, but Connor Jackson, as Headley couldn't handle it at third, credited with an infield hit, then a walk to Drew, and after Upton and Reynolds made out, a walk to Johnson, a walk to Young, finally a bases loaded single by Parra, and the ground out by Snyder ends it. 3 runs on 2 hits, 2 left, 3 walks in the inning. Tough to defend those. So the Padres are going to have to dig from behind, and Garland stays in the game. Will lead it off himself to start the 3rd inning. He has a base hit this year.
And as I mentioned, you know, he might go on next inning and throw a 9-10 pitch inning. You never know. That's how quickly guys can turn it around.
Jackson throws inside to Garland. Boy, up north at Dodger Stadium, Ethier and Kemp hit home runs early, and then Ethier comes back with a grand slam. So in the first 2 innings, Ethier has 2 home runs. That's why they lead 7-0 after 3 innings over San Francisco.
Seems like those 2 youngsters that you just mentioned have been in the league for like 10 years, and they're still only like 26, 27 years old.
2-0 to Garland. Well, maybe Edwin Jackson says, you know, you're so generous, Mr. Garland. I think, it would only be proper for me, in true sportsmanship, to offer you a free pass.
He's going to have the bat on the shoulder here, no doubt. You can just use it as a cane, just kind of lean on it, and probably make Jackson mad, though.
There's a strike. He bends it over the outside corner. Like the free throw, you know, it's just not even 15 feet. They call it 15. It's only 13.5 feet to the middle of the basket. Nobody's guarding you, and yet you're shooting 50%. Yeah. Lays another down the middle, so 3-2 the count. Ball 4. Thank you very much, as Garland earns a leadoff walk in the third. Giveaway continues. Tonight, San Diego County Teachers of the Year were honored on the field before the game, and we remind you that Ashford University gives top marks to our community's teachers on Teacher Appreciation Night. Stand and applaud. And congratulations to our best here in San Diego County.
Absolutely. It's amazing the thing that teachers do day in and day out. Lesson plans and dealing with kids and just, you've been there.
Oh, yeah.
You've been there.
Oh, when I'm king someday, I've got it all worked out. And not that I don't appreciate college and high school teachers. I was a college teacher and made all of 4,800 with a doctorate at Cal State Northridge. But I think it should be reversed in terms of salary scale. Cabrera, 2-0. I think that K1-2, if you're going to recruit, they should be your very, very best teachers, and they should get the most money because they're not only setting the foundation for the entire educational process for young boys and girls, but they're saving lives. A lot of kids come to school in K1-2 and from split families or not a lot of guidance at home, and here's a chance for those teachers, and so many of them do just that. They become the surrogate parent, and I just could not applaud what our good teachers do. And if we could just find a way to pay them more, probably we'd raise the standards of teaching even more. There's so many young kids who go to school, want to be a teacher, then they look around and say, well, here's the salary for a teacher, but if I go over here, I can double and triple that amount. Well, maybe I don't want to teach after all, and that's a pity. All right, that's my sermon for the day, and now back to base.
Pass the basket.
Cabrera takes a strike, 2-1. After the visit by Snyder, as Jackson walks Garland and falls behind Cabrera 2-0, and now 2-1. Cabrera walked his first time up. 5 walks thrown by Garland, 3 walks now from Jackson. Could be 2. Well, Garland ran right into the tag, so that made it easy. A 4-3 double play. Johnson over to the first baseman, Jackson. Had Johnson been forced to throw the ball to second, then with the speed of Cabrera, he should have been able to beat that out. But Garland just jogs right into the tag.
A good play would have probably been Garland to stop and just stop in his tracks. And then he'd have to go to second base for the force, and then they had to give Everett the chance to be, safe at first base.
Well, that made it much too easy. So a couple of double plays by the Diamondbacks in the last 2 innings to erase hope for some offense from San Diego. And with 2 outs, here's David Eckstein. Good play by Connor Jackson and Mark Reynolds. The last time up, Reynolds throwing him out on a good play. He takes a strike. Bunted foul. Almost ran into that bunt in fair territory. He had Mark Reynolds playing deep at third. He'll work his way on.
Always thinking, looking at the defense, hey, I can bump myself out with 2 outs. Have Adrian come up to the plate. That's how rallies are started.
All the way to the screen. Well, we're into the second week of the season, and David Eckstein, 32 plate appearances without striking out. That's the best in the majors. Alex Cora, 25 at bats without a strikeout. Ground ball, right field, base hit. A double play now really comes back to pinch the Padres. That could have been first and third with Cabrera at first base, but with 2 outs, it'll bring up Adrian Gonzalez.
I think that's one of the things Randy Reddy really preaches, and we've talked about that before. Quality at-bats, taking some pitches, and just putting the ball in play, eliminating the strikeout. We just talked about David Eckstein not striking out. You put the ball in play, you got a good chance of possibly hitting a hole and getting one of your better hitters up the plate. One swing of the bat, you get a couple of runs.
Gonzalez walked his first at bat. First base was open at the time with Cabrera at second. And Gonzalez didn't get many good pitches to look at. Maybe one. He's walked 7 times so far this year, most by any Padre. Ground ball deep at second is Johnson to throw him out. So for the Padres in the third, no runs ahead, a man left after 3 at Petco. It's Arizona by 3. Join the Padres for breakfast at the park every Sunday morning home game. The park at the park gates open at 10:30 in the morning, and breakfast first come first serve. Be sure to get there early. Visit Padres.com/breakfast for all the delicious details, and our first breakfast will be served Sunday morning. Garland opens this 4th inning with a called strike against Edwin Jackson, the pitcher.
John Garland needs a quick inning right here. What a perfect way than to start off with the pitcher. Last inning, 36 pitches, 18 balls, 18 strikes for John Garland. He needs a quick one here.
That one just off the head of the bat. And Jackson out easily, 1-3. Well, and along with being his own worst enemy with his wildness in the last inning, and it led to 3 runs. You're not expecting him to be Ricky Henderson on the bases, but he ran himself into a 4-3 double play that took the Padres out of a possible inning of their own, the bottom of the third. So it's been a rough night for this veteran. Connor Jackson, and he was credited with an infield hit his last time up and scored one of the 3 runs. That looked pretty good, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. That low pitch, there are certain things that irk certain people. That low pitch is a pitcher that's not called a strike.
1-1.
Changes the whole at bat, Rather than 0-2, now you've got 1-1.
Yeah, you're a single ball pitcher. You've got to get that low strike. 2-1 to Connor Jackson, who's been aboard both at bats. He walked to start the game, and the infield hit in the third, and that also was as the leadoff man. 3-1.
High slider for a strike, 3-1.
Count goes full to Connor Jackson.
Got to throw him another breaking ball here, you think? Yep.
Line to left field. Blank's trying to cut it off and does. And will hold Jackson. Oh, he's going to go for two. The throw comes in and he is out. Trying an extreme slide to the inside of the bag and couldn't quite get to the square. And the tag made by David Eckstein. Good play by Blanks to cut the ball off and get that throw in a hurry.
Earlier in the night, there was a ball to the gap that got by Kyle Blanks. It's a 3-2 breaking ball, and look at the big boy go get it. He rotates glove side. Now the race is on. He came off the back. You know, at first the umpire did not signal out. Lance Barksdale was waiting.
First pitch to Drew is hammered high and deep to right center, but Hairston able to get back as that ball dying at the edge of the warning track. So three men come to the plate. Jackson gets the hit, but is erased at second on the throw into X. Of San Diego high def brought to you by Irving Hughes. Life is a lease. Negotiate well. Bottom of the fourth with the Padres. Middle three in the order. Headley, Venable, and Blanks are scheduled. 3-0 Arizona. Padres have been able to get the leadoff man on base all 3 innings, but not able to chase anyone around. Strike one to Chase Headley. Safe on a fielder's choice in the first inning. In the dirt, 1-1. Sad news for the Padre offense is the fact that when they have received walks, they haven't taken advantage. The last 14 times that a Padre has walked, none has scored. 2-1. And you go back to the third inning for Arizona. 3 men walked and 2 of them scored.
How come that never happened when I was pitching? I walked the guy, guaranteed he came around to score.
Automatic. They call automatic strike, automatic run, huh? Sure seems that way, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
Chopped off the plate. It's going to be a tough play for Drew. He short hops it and gets him. An outstanding play by the shortstop, Stephen Drew. He is a complete player.
That's why pitchers love guys like Stephen Drew playing the infield. On the short hop, coming in full strength and then firing a strike. That's not an easy play, folks. And he's fired up about it. Like he's playing the Sandlot ball back in the, back in the cornfields back home. Enjoying playing the game of baseball, right? Having fun.
Yeah, a little self-love there. I'm pretty good. The whole family's pretty good. 3 Drews making it to the big leagues. All #1 draft picks. Will Venable grounded to second his first trip. Hitting with some pop here in the last 4 games with his singles, triple, and a couple of home runs. Strike. Changeup.
Sorry, I did my Bud Collins imitation there, Dick. When I didn't like the call.
1-1 downstairs. Will Venable, one of 4 San Diego outfielders whose fathers played outfield in the big leagues. Quite unusual. Low, 3-1. Venable's dad, Max. Of course, the 2 Hairstons, Jerry Sr. and a fellow named Tony Gwynn. The scoreboard cue to make noise, and here's the 3-1 pitch. Hit to left field toward the line. A long run for Parra in the corner, and he slides and makes the play. Well done. A couple of defensive plays here by the Diamondbacks. First by the shortstop, Drew, and that's a tough play by Parra. The Sandy Ambrose play into the left field corner.
Sometimes you get the big strikeout as a pitcher. Sometimes you get the weak ground ball, but there are times when you need your gloves behind you to make the play. Stephen Drew, we saw a nice play. And Parra kicking up a little chalk. Doesn't mind getting the old Arizona uni dirty to help out his pitcher.
Had he not made the play, Mark Grant, it would have been a foul ball. But running into that shallow corner right into the wall, making the slide, that was a terrific effort by Parra. Here's Blanks. He singled to right his first time up. One of 2 San Diego singles. The other, David Eckstein. Smothered at the plate. And the Padres starting this homestand with that wondrous hit parade. 19 hits and 17 runs on Monday. And then the bats have gone quiet. 1-2. Curveball.
That's an off the table curveball too. That is 12-6. Great rotation. Good location.
In the dirt. After that big 17-2 victory over Atlanta on Monday. Just 1 run on 6 hits, losing 6-1 in game 2 to Atlanta. Just 6 hits again last night in the 6-2 Braves win. And a couple of singles here through 3 2/3 tonight. Rip foul. 3 feet off the bag at third. Edwin Jackson with a 3-0 lead. The right-hander delivers. Low and away. Full count. Kyle Blanks with Scott Hairston due next.
We're going to peek in here. 3-2. Nobody on base. Jackson's been throwing curveballs and sliders. And Snyder. Let's go with a slider down and away.
And it's very effective. Blanks goes down swinging. The Padres are out in order in the 4th. 3-0 D-backs. 9-2-2-2, improving San Diego homes since 1975. And a great job with the highlights here through the first 4 innings. Tom Satursky, our director, Ed Barnes, our producer. Ground ball right through Headley into left field. Off the bat of Justin Upton, and there he's going to try for 2, and they get him. Oh, a gamble by Upton, and Kyle Blanks has his second assist of the game. Error 5 charged to Headley, his 4th error of the season. And Blanks erases the runner with a solid throw.
I think Chase had time to maybe get in front of that baseball to try to block it. He went with the backhand, and Kyle Blanks, it's all about picking up your teammates, right? Well, Kyle Blanks fires a strike to second base to erase that D-back.
A 2-assist game through 4 1/3 innings for the left fielder. Ball 1 is the count to Mark Reynolds, who has flied out and fouled out. Changeup gets him. You know, you made that expression, and it's one of my favorites in baseball, Mark Grant, and that is, I'll pick him up for you. And you hear that in the dugout, and it's used in various ways. Fouled back. And I use it, you know, when I'm talking to young people as to how you work as a team. You know, 1 out, tie game, 9th inning, a man on third, I'm up, strike out. Now 2 outs, now you need a base hit to win it. But as I come back after striking out, my teammate going to the plate says, hey, I'll pick him up for you. And then he gets a hit. Everyone forgets I struck out.
Absolutely.
And that's the spirit of the game, any game. That just missed. 2 balls, 2 strikes to the home run hitting Reynolds.
You know, I learned a lot in Little League. I learned a lot in high school. But 2 guys that I played with at the big league level, Mike Fruco and Dwayne Kuiper, really taught me a lot about rooting for your teammates.
Strike 3, and that emphatic out call by Hallion. Garland would like to hear that more often. That's his second strikeout.
Looked like he went with the breaking ball as well. And once again, the high strike on the outside corner. Nicely done. But the point they were trying to make was, you know, it's not all about you. We're a team. There's 25 guys on this team. You root for your guy. If you gave up a hit or something, the reliever comes in, you root for him to get the next guy out. Same for hitting.
Kelly Johnson winds it to Eckstein for the 3rd out. So finally an easy inning for Garland. No runs, 1 hit, but erased at second on Kyle Blanks, second. with a game ticket, and you have to pay for the beer, but it's a modest price. To get more information and your ticket to the game, visit Padres.com/beerfest. That's 2 weeks from tonight, Friday, April 30th. And my old friend Al McGuire, he wouldn't let the waitress or waiter pour the beer. He wanted to pour his own beer, so he'd get a lot of foam. He said, you know, flat beer is like life. You don't want it to be flat. You want life in your beer, and that foam represents that.
Nice.
Have a beer on us. Scott Hairston takes a strike. Hairston struck out swinging his first time up. Edwin Jackson staked to 3 runs in the third. 3 outs away from becoming pitcher of record. High fly to right. Justin Upton waits for it to come down, and there's one away. Brings up Nick Hundley. Hundley grounded into a 6-4-3 double play, his only at bat.
That last pitch was the one pitch of the at bat that Scott Hairston could have done some damage with it, but just could not square it up, and it's the easy fly ball to right.
Hundley with a pitcher spot due next. Looks as if Matt Stairs is on deck. Now it's Tony Gwynn that's come out of the dugout now. One and one to Hundley. So Garland's night is apparently finished as he goes 5 innings. Allows 3 runs, all earned. Total of 5 walks, 2 of them scored. Hundley takes ball 2. Only 4 hits offered by Garland, but the 5 walks was his undoing. And he had a couple of strikeouts. The 2-1 to Hundley is low. Trying to get something brewing here in the bottom of the 5th inning.
Yeah, we just got done talking about the beer fest. Why not get something brewing here? Hopefully a bad hop. Get on base.
Base on balls, it would be acceptable. 3-1. Jackson rearing back and offering a 94-mile-an-hour fastball. Threw it right through the swing of Hundley.
Free and easy motion from Edwin Jackson. He's got a live arm. Some guys, it looks like they really muscle it up there to get it going. Just like a whip, free and easy.
Back with the 3-2 pitch. Fouled out of play. Scoreboard noting that Hundley at the University of Arizona. Top hitter for the Cats down in Tucson. Dad, as you well know, is a football coach, assistant coach, UCLA, but his son decided to take the tangent away from football and concentrate on baseball. All the way to the big leagues. 3-2 again is low. Good at bat by Hundley. Padres down 3-0, need base runners, and Jackson offers another walk. That's the 4th tonight from the right-hander of the D-backs, and here's Tony Gwynn. Go to first, and Hundley just does dive back. Tony with just 3 hits on the season and 24 at bats pulls this one right to the first baseman Jackson. He goes to short, and that's all that the Diamondbacks can get with the speedy Gwynn hustling up the line. So he's safe on a fielder's choice. With Hundley out 3-6 on the force, and with 2 outs brings up Cabrera.
This ball hit sharply, and Jackson just gets in front of it. You know, if that ball is hit to the right of Jackson, it's a different story. You know, sometimes the hits fall in for you. You get a little broken bat number over the infielder's head. Sometimes you smoke that baseball and it's right at him.
Yeah, everything went right on opening day, didn't it? And we hope that was a portent of a great home stand of 9 games. But the hard hit balls have been at the gloves since. Cabrera pulls the bat back, but called strike is the call. Cabrera walked and grounded into a 4-3 double play. That was the play in which Garland was tagged going to second, and then Cabrera doubled up. Well, it's still fairly early in the game, so Gwynn is a threat to steal should he see an opening. Ball. This is a situation where the base stealers, Cabrera at the plate, Gwynn at first base, they have the green light. But Lexa, you've got the green light. The only sign he would give is no, don't steal. Get into the manager's head here. I would guess that he's saying, hey, if you see you've got a chance to steal, go ahead.
Sure.
Let's pick up a run here. 1 ball, 1 strike. Way out in front of that change.
You know what I'd like to do? You know the cutout at first base where that little loop is to where it goes, the grass goes. I'd like to get a maybe Rick Renteria knows how many feet that is, just so we can get an idea for the fans to where that corner is. See the corner on the left? Just how many feet from first base that is. So if a guy gets his foot out there, you know, that's a pretty sizable lead.
It's got to be close to 15 feet if you're all the way out there. Fouled away. Just did get a little piece of that. Stays alive at 1-2.
Remember the old AstroTurf fields where they had the cutouts?
Right.
You know, back then, if a guy got 1 foot on the carpet, they always said, oh, he's out to a pretty good lead, you know?
Well, that's your assignment for tomorrow, Mr. Grant. Get a tape measure, and you go out in that bag and line it up. I want to know the answer. You'll be tested on it on Sunday.
I'll be ready.
All right. Outside 2-2.
That was the 85th twirl from Edwin Jackson.
Padres trying to stir something here with 2 outs and 2-2 on Cabrera with Tony Gwynn at first base.
You know, another thing that Jackson has done tonight, he's varied his move over first base. Hold, throw over. Trying to come up, set, over. Turn, look, throw over. You know, he's thrown 85 pitches at home plate. I think he's thrown about 30 over to first base.
Yeah, he's over 100 on some kind of count, throwing count. Maybe we ought to have pitch count, throw count. And that's going to come more into play as the season develops and the Padre runners get. That's a little closer that time.
You know, you make a good point, though. Think about it as a pitcher, starting pitcher. You take your warm-ups in the bullpen. You go to the mound. You got 8 warm-up pitches in between innings. You throw over to first base. It's a lot of pitches. It's just not 85 or 86. You're right. It's into the hundreds. It's over 100.
Good point. Ground ball to short. Drew has to go the long way, and Cabrera out 6-3. So Jackson working on a shutout through 5 innings. Arizona 3-0. A reminder, folks, Padres games always more fun with friends and family or co-workers. So even a group as small as 20 people can experience a Padres game downtown, enjoy big savings over gate prices, a scoreboard welcome, and much more. Petco Park also offers exciting group facilities to fit your group's needs. So reserve your group tickets today as a group by calling 619-795-5555. Operators are standing by. Edward Mujica comes in to work the 6th inning for the Padres as Garland goes 5, 3 runs, all earned, 4 hits, 5 walks, and 2 strikeouts. First pitch is down low, ball 1 to Chris Young. Young, Para, who has been the hitting star of the game with a double and a 2-run single. And then Chris Snyder due up for Arizona. He gets the strike call on the swing. 1-1.
Well, the strikeout has been the story for Edward Mujica of late. He struck out 7 batters over his first 5 1/3 inning of work. It's a good chance for him to hold him here and maybe vulture a victory.
Phil Regan.
Phil Regan. You're thinking right along with me, the vulture.
Not exactly a term of great complimentary attitude, is it? But he earned it. Vulture'd come in and might accidentally let a run score to tie it, and then then the Dodgers would get some runs for him.
Hey, wins are hard enough to come by, right?
You bet.
Take him any way you can get him.
Mujica, the count 2-2. Misses inside. Changeup. Swung on and missed, and Mujica with another strikeout. His last outing, he struck out the side. Brings up Gerardo Para. Padres haven't been able to get him out.
I love the aggressiveness of Edward Mujica. He throws both the changeup, the split finger. He also throws a breaking ball, but he puts him away right there with the fastball. Those breaking balls for Mujica, a slider.
Para doubled to left center his first time up, and then with the bases loaded, singled through the hole on the right side to drive in 2 runs. That was after Garland had walked in a run, bases loaded walk to Chris Young, and Para followed with a single, and there are the 3 runs Arizona enjoys with the lead. Somehow that changeup missing the strike zone. 2-0. Takes a good swing, doesn't he?
Yes,
Para?
he does. He does not get cheated up there.
Ground ball, 2-hopper to Cabrera. Fires across, and there's 2 away. Chris Snyder, the catcher, has walked and grounded to third. Mujica's that all-purpose pitcher that you like to have in the pen. If you needed an emergency start, he did that last year. If you need someone to come into a lopsided game where you just need innings pitched, he'll do that. If you need someone to back up a tired closer or setup man, he'll pitch an inning for you late in the game with a decision on the line. So valued property. He throws a slider for a strike. One of the best defensive catchers in the game, this man, Chris Snyder. He can't find fastball at 88 miles an hour.
Chris Snyder shaking his head after that pitch. It had some funky movement to it, that fastball. Remember, he's got that split finger fastball in his back pocket. Mujica does.
Sends the fastball up and in. 91. That one measured.
That was by design. Up, trying to make him chase a little bit.
3 runs on only 4 hits for Arizona. The Padres, no runs, 2 hits, and an error. High foul fly out of play. We started on fireworks Friday night talking about we hope it'll be aerial bombs and not sizzlers. So far it's been no sizzlers. Doggone it, all they do is sparkle a little bit.
Yeah. Duds, right?
Maybe we'll get something to take off here. Strike 3 called, and Mujica strikes out 2 of the 3 as he retires the D-backs in order. We go to the bottom of the 6th. It'll be Eckstein. Well, that finish line is out there, home stretch, and down the stretch we go for the 2010 census. It is not too late for you folks, so fill out your census form and mail it back tonight. Edwin Jackson into the 6th inning with a 3-0 advantage. Will face Eckstein, Gonzalez, and Headley. Somebody gets on Will Venable.
There's a homemade sign, which I like to see, rather than ones that, that's printed out. That's a lot of hard work right there put in by that youngster.
Well done.
And Mrs. Rasmussen.
Teacher of the Year.
Congratulations. Yeah, rock on. Yeah, teachers rock.
Who was your favorite teacher?
Phil Keating. Taught me Spanish at Joliet Catholic High School. A great man, a great teacher, a big influence in my life.
That's great. Eckstein backs away from the inside pitch.
How about you, Dick?
Well, I had many. We were a very small high school, only 33 in my graduating class in Michigan, a farm town. Ooh, almost hit him 2-0. So every teacher was important. Every one of them, especially the coaches who are like fathers. But in college, as a freshman, you were required to take health education, and Dr. Bill Tennyson was my teacher, and he was such a good professor. I thought, I'd like to teach this someday. 2-1.
And that's what you got your doctorate in, right?
In health education, and taught it at Cal State Northridge. And Bill Tennyson also happened to be the baseball coach, and so I was privileged to be able to lead a drive to build a new baseball stadium at Central Michigan. 2-1 is fouled out of play. And I said, I will put in all the effort. I'll make the calls. We'll raise the money only if you name the stadium after Tennyson, Bill Tennyson. So it is Tennyson Stadium on the campus there at Central Michigan.
Very nice.
2 balls and 2 strikes. Chop to first. Connor Jackson scoops it up, and there's one away. I've had the chance to speak at some commencement addresses, and I always encourage, especially on the college level, I think high school kids are reluctant to go to a teacher at the end of a year, end of a semester, and thank them because they feel like they're apple polishing or whatever you call it. But in college, why not go back, and maybe you have to wait till you graduate and go back and say, if you've got a favorite teacher, go back and say, before I leave campus, I want to thank you for what you've given me. Thank you for what you've done. Here's Gonzalez. Fans would like to say gracias to Adrian if he could get a hold of one.
Well, this is the third time around now for these Padre hitters. They've seen pretty much everything in the toolbox of Edwin Jackson.
1-1.
Fastball still the mid-90s. That one was at on our gun. It said 96. It says 93 on the scoreboard. So we'll give it about 90, 94 and a half.
Very good, Mr. Mathematics here. It really is a night of education. Love your average work. Averaging. Fouled out of play. Gonzalez finally got a pitch in his zone, but not happy with his swing.
From a baseball standpoint, the best teacher I ever had, probably besides my dad, at the professional level was Pat Dobson, the late, great Pat Dobson, pitching coach when I was here with San Diego.
Great career with that wonderful Baltimore Orioles staff with Jim Palmer and Mike Cuellar, Dave McNally, Pat Dobson. What a staff that was. Fouled out of play. He was a good teacher, right?
Yes, he was. He taught me how to pitch. I'll admit, I was a thrower coming up. I threw hard. I wanted to throw the ball by everybody. He taught me how to set up hitters, what the hitter was thinking, how they swung the bat, how the ball was off the bat, how you read a ball off the bat, and what your next pitch should be. Certain runners on base, what to throw, what not to throw.
1-2 again to Adrian. Strike three. He's punched out as Tom Hellion with that dramatic gesture to call strike three. That's the third K tonight for Edwin Jackson. He gets a big hitter.
And I think he got a call here. That changeup off the plate. Adrian didn't like it.
Yeah, that's. He just takes a look at him and walks to the dugout. That is a protest. A shouting protest from Gonzalez. Stared at the umpire for a second or two before leaving the plate. So 2 outs, and Chase Headley, he's over 2 tonight. A couple of ground balls. Takes a strike. Boy, against Edwin Jackson, suddenly just looking for a loud foul. Just a couple of singles. Swing and a miss by Headley. In fact, there've only been 2 balls hit to the outfield. One was a foul ball in the left field corner. Parra made that nice sliding catch in foul territory. The other was a fly ball to right by Hairston. All the rest ground balls are strikeouts. 1-2. And the scoreboard clock has that one at 97 miles an hour. He's getting faster as the game progresses.
Wow, 97 on that last pitch.
Again, that's 2 back-to-back. Maybe the scoreboard is stuck on 97.
Maybe he's saving a little something this third time around in the middle of the order. Some guys will do that early on. They'll just try to hit their spots, and they hump up when they really need it.
The 2-2 pitch. Just off the plate. See change there. Breaking ball at 81 miles an hour with plenty taken off the velocity. 3-2 to Headley. As quiet as the attack has been for the Padres, you get a walk and a 1 swing. You're back in this game. It's 3-0 Arizona. Foul back. I used to love the old days, Midwest, where you could nighttime, you go out, get a baseball from all around the country. The strong, 50-watt clear channel stations. You can pick up Harry Carey. Cardinals down by 8, ninth inning. A walk, another walk, an error, a couple of base hits, another walk or two, and a home run. We're back in this thing.
KMOX, right?
Right. The ever optimistic Harry Carey. It's good to see his grandson Chip Carey here calling the games for the Atlanta Braves this last 3 nights. Yeah,
I'm a big fan of Chips.
3-2. Base hit to right field. So Headley, that's the sharpest base hit of the 3 tonight. That brings up Will Venable. Venable, a ground out and a foul ball to left.
Well, trying to wake things up a little bit, and that hit off the bat of Chase Headley will wake up the boys at the Alpine Fire Department watching Channel 4 tonight. Looking out for fires out there in the East County. That'll get the boys going.
The foul out by Venable was that ball he sliced deep down into the left field corner that Parra made the nice sliding catch. Starts Venable with a changeup down low. 104th pitch delivered by Jackson. Those were 2 outs here in the bottom of the 6th inning. So that needle may be tickling E here for the right-hander. Misses low again. 2-0.
Well, he still has that 95, 96 mile an hour fastball. It's just a matter of placing that fastball. And after seeing them a couple of times, all it takes is one right down the middle. Jackson might miss over the heart of the plate. That could be a big difference in this game.
Venable undoubtedly setting up here on 2-0, looking for a pitch that he can drive. But he sends one off speed on the, well, gosh, that certainly didn't look 94 miles an hour, did it?
It did not.
That's what the scoreboard reports. 2-1. Not where he was looking.
I'm surprised A.J. Hinch doesn't have somebody up just playing catch in the bullpen. I mean, one swing of the bat.
There's a stirring out there in the corner now. 2-1. That ball sliced again to left, but it'll be out of play. Well back into the crowd.
And just as I say that, as you mentioned, there's a
Bobby Howry, the right-hander, starts to loosen. Back to first, Headley with 2 outs and 2 balls, 2 strikes on Will Venable, the Padre leader in home runs and RBIs. Three and 2. Ooh, Snyder was on his way to the dugout. He thought he had strike 3. Well, that won't please umpire Tom Hallion.
Wow, what a good pitch.
That was a strike. So full count. Headley off with a pitch. The first baseman Jackson will play behind the runner. Ground ball to Jackson. The flip to the pitcher Jackson as Jackson goes to Jackson. 3-1 and another inning gone without a run for the Padres. So you can stretch your dollar at your San Diego Hyundai dealers, folks. You get more MPG, or more value, and double the warranty online at SanDiegoHyundaiDealers.com. Stretch your dollar in the 7th inning stretch we go. Later, after the top half of the inning, as Tony Abreu will bat for the starting pitcher Edwin Jackson. Abreu is 2 for 5 as a pinch hitter this year. Jackson leaving with a shutout ball. 3 hits, 4 walks, 3 strikeouts. Through nearly 110 pitches, or around that number. 0-2 to Abreu, and then to the top of the order, Connor Jackson and Stephen Drew for Arizona. Swung on and fouled into the glove of Hundley. 3 strikeouts of the 4 batters that Mujica has faced. That brings up Connor Jackson. Jackson in the 4th inning, lining that single to deep left center, and Blank's able to get a throw off in a hurry to Eckstein, and Eckstein makes the tag of Jackson for the out. That was 1 assist. And then Justin Upton tried to stretch a single into a double. He also was erased.
We talked about it before, picking up your teammates. That's big time pickup.
And the last Padre to come up with 2 assists in the same game 5 years ago. Ryan Giles against the Dodgers. 1-1 the count. Boy, how do we get that information? Chiron Bob Wiersdorfer, he working overtime. Coming up with that good trivia.
He's the best.
Outside 2-1. Surrounded with the best. Mike Trussell, a statistician. Sheila Simpson running the stage here. Managing the manners of those here in our Channel 4 broadcast booth. Swung on and missed. 2-2.
When Mujica throws the changeup and the split finger, he will throw the changeup earlier in the count, and then he'll go for the kill with the split finger fastball.
Fouls that one away. So how do you throw that split finger fastball?
Here's a 2-seam grip on the two seams there.
Okay.
Split finger. Some guys will throw it like that.
It's almost a fork ball.
The Elroy face fork ball.
Right.
Some guys will just spread their fingers just a little bit. Hence the name, split finger, and just throw it.
Throw it as hard as you can. It'll have a natural sink. There's a swinging bunt to throw to first in time. What a play by Nick Hundley. He gets Jackson on a bang-bang play at first. I thought that was a base hit. You couldn't have rolled the ball out there any better than that. Look at Hundley, how quick he's out of the crouch. And then has to throw against his body. That's does the full circle to get himself in position. And does get him indeed.
You know, Edward Mujica is lucky he didn't get a mouthful. He moved out of the way, clearing the path.
Jackson arguing there that clearly he was out.
Nice play, Nick.
I think it was more, oh no, how in the world did they ever get that? But when he left the batter's box, he figured, put a base hit in that H column for me. Stephen Drew, 0 for 2, along out to center his last time up. He was one of the 3 men who walked in the 3rd inning, and he scored. 2 of the 3 runs on men who were put aboard by starter John Garland. High fly ball hit deep, but too high. That'll bring it right down at the warning path. That's a home run in Arizona, way out. Drew wondering, how hard do I have to hit it? Too high, Stephen. Another 1-2-3 inning for Edward Mujica. By Fan Diego, your energy savings expert. For locations, you can visit fandiego.com. For ceiling fans, go to Fan Diego. Good to see so many youngsters. Friday night and a nice turnout of 26,632 here at Petco Park. Expect a big crowd tomorrow night. As fans note that a new pitcher coming in out of the bullpen for Arizona. It's Bob Howry. Edwin Jackson, solid effort, 6 innings. He had some stretches where he didn't throw as many strikes as he wanted, and therefore the pitch count was high. Allowed only 3 hits, 4 walks, and 3 strikeouts.
We talk about starters giving you innings. Well, Bob Howry, since 2005, leads all relievers with 380 appearances. Very reliable arm for A.J. Hinch.
He faces Kyle Blanks, then Hairston and Hundley in the bottom of the 7th for San Diego. Padres need 3 to tie. That one barreled down the middle. This is Howry's 5th appearance of the season. He's given up some runs, 3 innings total pitched, and he's allowed 4 runs. Slider misses downstairs.
Howry throws a fastball, a slider, and a split finger fastball. The fastball is anywhere from 90 to 94 miles an hour.
2-1 to Blanks. Base hit to left center field. Will that go through? No. Yes, it will. Boy, that skip. That had some punch behind it. Blanks is around second, and he will hold. As you saw the first baseman, Connor Jackson, following up and hoping he'd catch Blanks taking too big a turn and they could throw behind him. Well, finally, an extra base hit by the Padres to open the 7th inning and greet Howry.
Once again, another fastball, but this time Kyle goes down and gets it and splits the gap. Now he rounds for, it's a for sure double, but what I like is Kyle Blanks being aggressive around second base. That puts a little pressure on the defense. Maybe he rushes the throw a little bit. Maybe he shortstops the cutoff man. You see daylight, and then you can go to third base. It's a great way to start off the 7th with a double.
So Blanks 2 for 3 tonight. It moved out of the cleanup spot to the 6th position in Bud Black's batting order. Has 2 for 3, a single and a double. Scott Hairston has struck out and fly to right. Right call. Yeah, just even to get 1 run up on the board just changes the whole mood, the complexion, character of the game. And Hairston trying to at least move that runner to third, take a shot at right field.
We got some chirping going on between Tom Hallion and Scott Hairston. There's been a couple of calls tonight that Scotty has not liked.
Here's that last pitch.
You know, he's been calling that all night, hasn't he? The high.
Yeah, so that's is consistent both ways. May not be a strike tomorrow night. High fly ball, center field. Chris Young giving ground. Tagging is Blanks. And he's going to try to make it to third and will. And that big man, when he gets it going, he can gallop. So he gets himself to third where an out can score a run.
After the fastball, he gets a hanging slider, but it's just enough. It's inside. It's tough. It's tough to extend your arms on a slider on the inside part of the plate to a righty and really get something behind it, because if you get the bat head out, you're going to pull it foul. Scott does a nice job of sending it deep to center field to get him over to third base.
Hundley steps in, and Matt Stairs comes out of the dugout swinging a bat. The veteran left-handed hitter had a double yesterday. First pitch inside to Hundley, who was grounded into a double play and walked. The 36-year-old right-hander Bob Howry in relief of starter Edwin Jackson, who shut out the Padres for 6 innings. San Diego with a chance to score here on an out. The infield's back. Hundley, good cut. Can't find the 90-mile-an-hour fastball.
Yeah, they're conceding a run here. The infield's back. You just play a little game of pepper. I mean, Nick Hundley would like to get a base hit to get that tying run up to the plate.
Out of 1-1 on Hundley. 2-1. Out there on the mound, Lowry, who was drafted 16 years ago in the 5th round by the San Francisco Giants. Long career. Line drive, foul. Just too far out in front.
He wants it down and away. It's left up over the plate. And he catches it too far out in front. And Nick immediately knew that it was going to be a souvenir.
Lowry with the Giants last year. Released, signed as a free agent this year in Arizona. Grew up, played high school ball in the Phoenix area, so he's come back home. You're allowed, as long as you're not on the rubber, to lick your fingers, as long as you wipe them. If you don't, it's a ball. If you do that on the rubber, it's a ball. Ground ball to third. Scooped up by Reynolds. The run scores as Hundley is thrown out at first. 3-1. Padres on the board. An RBI, the third of the season for catcher Nick Hundley. So the double by Blanks moves to third on the fly out from Hairston and scores on the ground ball out. So with the run in, manager Bud Black, who had Matt Stairs in the on-deck circle, now has called him back and sends up Oscar Salazar.
Yeah, if Nick Hundley would have gotten aboard there, that brings up the tying run to the plate. Matt Stairs is a guy with one swing of the bat, can make a big difference. Nobody on, it'll be Kachi, the armadillo. Oscar Salazar. It's his nickname, Kachi.
Outfield plays him almost straight away. And the first pitch poured in there for a strike. (3-1) here in the bottom of the 7th. Arizona in front. All 3 runs scored back in the 3rd. That ball downstairs in the dirt. The ball and the strike to Salazar. If he gets on, it's Cabrera in the top of the order to follow. Edward Mujica, 2 more solid innings. 6 men up, 6 men down. 3 of them struck out by Mujica. Ooh. That ball just does take a bite out of the outside corner. 1-2. One-two pitch in the dirt. Salazar looking for his first hit of the season. He's 0 for 5. Trying to get on there, bring the tying run to the plate here in the 7th. Hits this one deep to left field. Parra going back and makes the catch as a one step into the wall in left field. Well tagged by Salazar, but Parra playing his position. He's made a couple of good plays in left. Future Stars promotion. It's brought to you by Round Table Pizza. You give your young fan a chance to win a Round Table Pizza Party Pack. Submit your photo that shows your team pride and go to 4sd.com for more details. Take a picture of that.
It's a good workout for Dad as well. You got to keep the noggins warm. That's where the beanies come into play. Cool night here at the yard.
Adam Russell is the third Padre pitcher of the night. This is his third appearance of the season. He's worked 3 1/3 innings, has not allowed a hit, and has struck out 3. Swing and a miss. Justin Upton has grounded to short, line to center, and was safe on Headley's error in the 5th inning. Reynolds and Kelly Johnson to follow. Breaking ball outside, 2-1. Check that, 1-2. Six-eight right-hander Russell delivers, strike 3 call. You get the feeling that this big guy, as hard as he throws and the movement he has on the fastball, he's going to be a solid contributor out of the pen.
You said it. 96, 97 miles an hour. He's got also a 4-seamer, a 2-seamer. He will throw a curveball. Very intimidating on that mound.
Mark Reynolds 0 for 3 tonight. Fly out, fouled out, and struck out. Powers that fastball down the middle. Reynolds, since he debuted in May 3 years ago, that went off the fist, a soft roller to Eckstein, and there's 2 away. To the man that leads all National League third basemen since he came up to the big leagues. 92 home runs. That's 20 more than David Wright of the Mets. Two quick outs from Russell, and here's Kelly Johnson. Grounded out, lined out, and he was one of the 3 men that walked in that disastrous 3rd inning where the Diamondbacks scored 3 runs. The walk generosity of starter John Garland. In that inning, there was an infield hit by Connor Jackson, or ruled an infield hit, then a walk to Drew, then 2 outs. Then Kelly Johnson walked to load the bases. Chris Young walked to force in a run, and Parra, with the bases loaded, singled through the hole into right field for 2 more. 1-2 the count.
Well, Adam Russell is bringing it. That last pitch, 96.
Boy, is he imposing out there at 6'8". Oh, strike 3. 1, 2, 3. The Diamondbacks go on the 8th. 2 of them on strikes thrown by Adam Russell. We go to the bottom of the 8th inning. It'll be the top of the order for San Diego. Bottom of the 8th inning, Aaron Heilman, 31-year-old right-hander, 6'5" and 225. With the score 3-1 Arizona, making his 6th appearance already in 10 games of this new season. And there's the bunt by Cabrera, and it's a good one. Reynolds charges, throws, and gets him on a close play. Now Reynolds was fudging in, anticipating a possible bunt. That's the only way that he could have thrown out Cabrera, as he placed it out there rather neatly.
A lot of times the third baseman will charge like that, and they throw it right up the backside of the runner down the first base line. He doesn't let up on that, and it's a perfect throw to first base, Kent Tekulve-like. Gets him by a half step. That's pretty.
That really is a good baseball play. For you or against you, you got to appreciate that kind of defensive skill. Eckstein takes a strike. David is 1 for 3, a couple of ground outs and a ground single through the right side. One and one. Heilman came up to the big leagues as a starter and was converted to relief pitching in 2005. 2-1 now. Well, he was with the New York Mets. Pitched last year in the pen for the Cubs. 4-4 with a fairly high ERA for a reliever, 4.11. Traded to the Diamondbacks for Scott Maine and Ryan White in the offseason. Line drive, base hit. So Eckstein single will bring the tying run to the plate here in the bottom of the 8th. 2 for 4 for Eckstein. As he bobbles his head, acknowledging that single. No, I'm not. It is a segue, but I think all the folks know they're going to give away the doll tomorrow night. A little peek into the dugout to see if something's working here, but with Gonzalez up, and Eckstein, by getting that base hit, takes away the shift against Gonzalez. I want to keep that right side open for him here. One swing away from tying it. Gonzalez with 2 home runs this year. High and away.
But Aaron Heilman really worked underneath that last pitch, nearly sending it back to the screen. It's kind of a low 3/4 delivery, a fastball, changeup, and a slider. And watch his arm. Kind of. Sometimes he'll push the baseball up, work underneath it. That's what happens.
All-America pitcher at the University of Notre Dame. Fouled at the plate, 1-1. So he's thrown him 2 straight changeups, one high and away, and comes right back with a changeup. Padres got a run in the last inning on the leadoff double by Blanks, a fly out and a ground out by Hundley. 1 out single by Eckstein after Cabrera, in some ways denied, even robbed of a hit by the good play by Reynolds on his bunt, or there'd be a couple of men on with no one out. One and 2 to Gonzalez. So 2 changeups and then a 92-mile-an-hour fastball.
That makes that fastball look like it's 102, especially if it's a good changeup.
Chase Headley is on deck.
Oh, isn't that nice? Dreaming of a Padres victory.
I think the Padres fan, we lead the league in babies coming out, and we're going to have some fan core, 10, 15 years from now.
Yep.
High pop foul. That'll make it back into the lower deck. Well back, and then it comes all the way to the first row behind the dugout.
We talk about a pitch to rip at, middle in. Padres just haven't gotten to that one pitch.
You could see the facial expression of Gonzalez. He knew he got his pitch there. But he's still alive, 1-2. Eckstein a safe lead at first. Line drive left field, base hit with Parra playing deep. That falls in. And the tying runs aboard. Gonzalez with his first hit of the night. So back-to-back singles by Eckstein and Gonzalez. First and second for Chase Headley, who singled his last time up.
Aaron Heilman knows the power of Adrian Gonzalez. He knows the score. So what does he try to do? That one he gets away from him a little bit. Trying to throw the two-seamer away. Give him left field. And you can understand why. But on the other hand, you get it up, he could take you the other way out of the yard. That ball hits squarely. You know, if he elevates that ball a little bit, it might be a different story. But the concept there and what Heilman was trying to do is trying to keep it away and down, possibly get a grounder. He kept him in the yard. And as far as Heilman's concerned, you know, he'll give him the single.
And Gonzalez benefiting from the fact that Parra was playing extraordinarily deep in left field. And that line drive falls in. 1-4-3 for Headley tonight. His 8-game streak ended last night, but he hit 2 balls right on the nose. And that one in the dirt gets away, and the tying run Gonzalez will move to second as Eckstein advances to third, and a base hit can tie it up. Wild pitch from Heilman.
It looked like he spiked a sinker. The second you see daylight as a runner, go. Catcher's got to get to the ball. Catcher's got to grab the baseball. Catcher has to throw it. It's one thing I learned from Roger Craig. Come, baby. Even to the pitchers. You see daylight, go.
So Eckstein at third, the tying run Gonzalez at second. 1 out. And 1-0 the count to Headley. Pops it up. Off third, Reynolds. 2 away. Well, the Padres won't get a run on and out. And with 2 away, it's up to Will Venable.
Heilman took a little bit off this pitch. It looked like a changeup, and you can see the swing by Chase Headley out in front of it. Changeup reaching for it, taking all the power, just arms on that swing, no legs, no upper half, and hence the weak fly ball in foul territory.
Venable grounded to second, sent a long foul out down the left field line, caught by a sliding Parra in foul territory deep in the corner. And grounded to first, but hit the ball hard last time, but right at Connor Jackson. First pitch downstairs with a change, so he starts Venable as he did Gonzalez with a changeup. Crafty veteran Heilman on the mound.
Okay, what do you do here? You got first base open. You've got a right-hander on deck, Kyle Blanks. I think this next pitch will indicate how Heilman's going to go after Will Venable.
In the dirt, 2-0. The other hand, you walk Venable, you load the bases, and you put the go-ahead run on for Blanks, who's got 2 hits tonight. So 2-0 to Venable. Ready to pull the trigger for Bud Black. Base hit to tie it. Low, 3-0.
3 off-speed pitches to Will Venable.
Good patience by Venable not to go chasing. Okay,
I say
heaven forbid we call you manager Mark, but if it's 3-0 here, do you let Venable swing?
You know, yes, if he gets a pitch he likes, have him swing. Absolutely.
Sorry, time's up.
I say swing.
All right, I did too.
Because you know what? If Blanks gets up to the plate, I can't see Heilman throw him a fastball, throwing a bunch of breaking balls. Ooh.
There's a strike. 91-mile-an-hour fastball at the knees, and that's where Venable likes him down low. 2 of his home runs have been balls down Low in the strike zone.
There's Kirk Gibson along with A.J. Hinch and Bo Porter on the Diamondback bench.
Eckstein at third, Gonzalez at second in scoring position. 2 outs here in the 8th. 3-1 pitch. Low, ball 4. Bases loaded. So the Padres occupy first, second, and third with Venable, Gonzalez, and Eckstein. And out comes A.J. Hinch. I know that's Stottlemyre, the pitching coach. Mel Stottlemyre Jr.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting. Bases loaded. And when you look at what Kyle Blanks has done tonight, couple of hits. He's gotten his hits on fastballs. Be interesting to see how Aaron Heilman goes after the right-handed hitter.
Meanwhile, Jordan Norberto, a left-hander, and a right-hander, Esmerling Vasquez, are getting ready in the bullpen down the right field corner. But the veteran Heilman will stay, try to clean up this himself. Bases full for the power-hitting Blanks. Single to right, double to left center.
You know, Aaron Heilman had a chance to save a game at Dodger Stadium. He allowed a game-tying 2-run homer to Matt Kemp last time out.
First pitch coming up to Blanks. Inside, ball 1. .86 on the fastball, so not a lot of speed. Working a lot of off speed to the Padre hitters here in the bottom of the 8th inning. There's a strike on the inside corner with a sinker. This crowd of 26,632 itching to stand and cheer if Blanks could get a hold of one. 1-1. With the bases full of Padres. 3-1 Arizona. Chop foul. Another sinker.
He's trying to tie him up inside. Doesn't want to get those hands extended. Those arms extended, rather.
Blanks has done a good job tonight in his 2 trips with base hits of rallying, making good swings when down in the count.
I'm going to quiz you here on teacher night. What would you throw here? Maybe a slider if you're pitching?
I wouldn't throw him a strike. Yeah, breaking ball low and away. He's been going inside. Maybe he'll chase. Ooh. Another changeup. Two balls, 2 strikes. Bases loaded. Padres in the 8th with 2 out. Trailing 3-1. Three and 2. No room now for Aaron Heilman. Needs to throw a strike or throws the Padres a run. A long single could score 3. Runners will be off with a pitch. Ball 4. He did not go around. Run comes in just as Arizona benefited from wildness by Garland in the 3rd inning. A bases loaded walk. The Padres get a run as Blanks walks with the bases drunk.
Nothing but some sinkers and some changeups to Kyle Blanks. He did not go around. Good discipline laying off those changeups by Kyle Blanks.
That really did show wonderful patience for a young hitter. So Venable and Blanks walked with 2 out. For Blanks, that is his 7th RBI. Bases still full. 3-2 to Scott Hairston, who was struck out and flied out twice. Ball 1.
Oh, we've seen some big hits from this guy in the past when Scotty Harrison was wearing a Padre uniform.
Snyder out to talk to his veteran reliever. Everybody moving up 90 feet on that last walk. So Gonzalez representing the tying runs at third. Venable the go-ahead score at second. And a bonus run over at first and Blanks if Hairston can find an alley. Veteran against veteran. Heilman to Hairston. 1-0. 2-0.
I haven't seen any sliders from Heilman. Sinkers and changeups.
Scotty Hairston, interestingly drafted by Arizona in 2001, up there for the Padres. 2-0 the count. 3-0. Too low. Fans on their feet here at Petco. A pitch away, a ball away from tying it as Heilman needs to throw a strike. 3-0. And finds the knees. 3-1. But even then, that was a pitch up on the outside edge. You almost have to make him throw another strike, don't you? 3-1.
Absolutely. If it's going to be a pitch like the last one and the outside corner like that, can't do much with a pitch like that.
Swung on and missed over the top of that sinker. So 3-2 again, Aaron Heilman. Once again, the runners will be off with a pitch.
It's a classic example of just going after Scott Harrison, letting the ball do the work out in front of it just a little bit too. Looks like he's changing speeds on his sinker as well. And this kid can't stand it.
3-2. Gonzalez, Venable, and Blanks will be off with a pitch. Fouled out of play. Heilman with a fastball. 3-2. 91 miles an hour.
Can it get any more exciting than this?
This is great.
You got the bases drunk.
Got some theater here on Friday night. Even Eckstein, the veteran, wrapped up in the mystery.
This is the best reality show on TV, isn't it? Baseball.
Amen. Runners again, ready to roll. 3-2, 2 outs in the 8th. High fly ball. That's foul territory. Reynolds has room and the inning is over. So much for that. A run on a bases loaded walk and 3 men left for the Padres in the 8th. It's 3-2 Arizona. I ran into Heath coming into the ballpark early this afternoon. I said, "Are you still with the ball club?" He hasn't been out there since last weekend, last Saturday night in that 14-inning marathon in Colorado when he picked up his second save.
Well, we all know what the closer does to try to close it out for a victory for your home team. Well, got to hold these Diamondbacks and get the last crack in the 9th inning.
Relief pitching outstanding. 11 straight men retired for Arizona as Bell goes to work on Chris Young, Gerardo Parra, and Chris Snyder in the top of the 9th. Bends a slider in there for a strike.
It's so frustrating about that last inning for San Diego. 2 hits and 2 walks, but yet only 1 run.
Hits came at the start of the inning, not at the end of the inning. 3-2 Arizona. Fastball poured over but low. Yeah, Bud Black countering on Heath Bell's absence from the lineup because the Padres have not been in a safe situation. He said, "I hope I can use him in every game this weekend." There's a strike on the outside corner. Just looking ahead to the Padres' bottom of the 9th inning, they have Hundley, the pitcher's spot, and Cabrera due against Heilman or a new D-backs pitcher. That ball hit pretty well to center field, and Hairston drifting back and makes the play. 1 out. As Young 0 for 3 tonight. He walked with the bases loaded to force in a run, his 15th RBI of the year back in the 3-run 3rd. Gerardo Parra doubled to left center. Our 2-run single grounded to right and a ground out to short tonight. He has half of the Arizona hit total. 3 runs, only 4 hits, no errors, 5 left for Arizona. Padres 2 runs, 6 hits, 1 error, and 8 men stranded. Strike. 1-1. San Diego guilty of leaving the bases loaded 3 times in the last 2 games. There's another strike. Fastball at the knees, 94 miles an hour. One out, bases empty. 1-2 on the D-backs left fielder. Heath misses away. Picks up a sign from Hundley, and here comes the 2-2 delivery. Grounded right back to Bell. Soft toss to Gonzalez, 2 away.
Well, with the way Heath Bell is reacting on the mound to his body language, you would think that the Padres have the lead and he's going for the close here. Same intensity, and that's what it takes, no matter what the score. Other National League West scores: Atlanta defeated Colorado 9-5, and the Dodgers, who once led 7-0, now in the 9th inning their lead is 10-8 against San Francisco up at Dodger Stadium. Fastball low and outside to Snyder. He's walked, grounded out, and struck out. 13 straight men retired, primarily by the bullpen work of Mujica, Russell, and Bell. The appeal, but he did not go around, and now it's a final. The Dodgers have defeated the Giants 10-8. So San Francisco falls to 7-3. Dodgers to 5-5 on the season. Colorado 5-5, losing tonight in Atlanta. Threw that fastball right by him at 93 miles an hour. Mujica 2 innings, didn't allow a base runner, 3 strikeouts. Adam Russell an inning, struck out 2 and a 1-2-3-8.
3-1 now to Snyder. It's like Adam LaRoche on deck in case Snyder should be successful. High fly ball to right field. Venable with a beat on it. Another 1-2-3 inning. 14 straight Diamondbacks down in order. We go to the bottom of the 9th inning. Padres need 1 to tie, 2 to win. Following our game right here on Channel 4 San Diego. Sequan Casino, San Diego's daycation getaway. Jenny and Bob standing by with the highlights. And they'll be amidst the fireworks display on this Friday night. And it is hopeful down in that San Diego dugout that we can have a couple bombs and aerial attack here in the bottom of the 9th inning against Juan Gutierrez, the 4th pitcher used tonight by manager H.A. Hinch. Let's check Gutierrez's report card on this young season. 5th game, 4 innings pitched. He's allowed only 1 hit, no runs, and 4 strikeouts, so he has been the stopper.
Fastball, slider, curveball, and a change. 92 to 96 for Gutierrez. He'll elevate that fastball with 2 strikes, try to make a chase. A bloop and a blast. The Padres are looking for.
Hundley leads it off, then the pitcher's spot. High breaking ball for a strike. Curveball at 80 miles an hour.
That's unbelievable.
Strike 2. Jerry Hairston currently in the on-deck circle for San Diego. Of course, the home run potential of veteran Matt Stayers also down, available to Bud Black. The 0-2 pitch. Down low. The appeal, but no reaction at all from first base umpire Ron Kulpa. Said it's not even worth showing you the palms down. Wasn't close. A ball and 2 strikes to Hundley. 0 for 2 tonight. Drove in a run with a ground out. Slider outside, 2-2. And here it comes. Down low, 3-2.
Anything to get something going. Got the Tiki guy working. He needs a rally shillelagh is what that guy needs.
Little voodoo action going on there. Three and two. Fouled away, and he got a fastball. Just missed it. 94 miles an hour.
Up and away, and cannot get on top of it. We're going to peek in. Fastball away.
Low, ball 4, and Hundley works Gutierrez for a leadoff walk. Padres have been the recipient of 7 walks tonight. 1 with the bases loaded. Kyle Blanks to force in the second run to make it 3-2. Tying run on. The winning run comes to the plate here in the 9th inning, and Jerry Hairston to bat for Heath Bell. Well, do you play to tie it home and win on the road? Do you sacrifice him over and give Cabrera next time a chance?
You know, I think Jerry Hairston's going up there to try to make a difference and swing it with some authority, or maybe the drag bunt.
Beautiful bunt. Reynolds. The throw is in time. The second baseman Kelly Johnson covering, so the put-up goes 5-4 on the sacrifice. And the tying runs in scoring position with Cabrera coming up.
That looks like trying to bunt for a base hit there. I mean, sacrificing, he's going to show a little earlier. He almost threw that one away.
Yes. Reynolds has played. We've seen 4 games now against the Diamondbacks, and Reynolds has handled the total variety of tough plays at third. Very adroit in his execution.
Good bat control by Jerry Hairston Jr. there, putting that bunt down.
So the tying run at second. Cabrera walk, double play, ground out, and try to beat out a bunt, and Reynolds took care of business on that one. Fastball at the knees for a strike. 93 miles an hour. Cabrera with 7 runs batted in this season. He's second to Will Venable in knocking in runs. He had a 2-run double and a RBI triple at Arizona. The series there. Off speed for a strike. And a fastball and then an off speed breaking ball. 0-2. Gives up a little on the bat here. Try to protect the plate with 2 strikes on him. Fouls this one back.
Well, good curveball.
80 miles an hour, so he took some speed off it. Look at the snap on this one.
Oh, yeah. Great rotation on that pitch.
Tying run represented by Nick Hundley out at second with 1 out here in the bottom of the 9th inning. 2-strike pitch to Cabrera. Swung on and missed in the dirt, and he's out on strikes. Actually, was caught by Snyder. Ball low and inside. Cabrera strikes out for the 13th time this year.
Gutierrez went back to the breaking ball.
And Snyder tagged him before he left the batter's box. Ball in the dirt.
We'll take a look at it here and gets him on the backside for the putout.
3rd time tonight a Padre batter has swung at a pitch that bounced in. So it's up to David Eckstein. He has a couple of singles tonight, 2 for 4, and scored a run. Trying to pick up the tying run and give Gonzalez a chance as well. Hit to left field. Parra going back. It's over his head against the wall. Tying run scores Hundley. Into second, Eckstein. 3 for 5 tonight, and he ties it up with a ringing double to left. We were about to say that with Eckstein up and a tying run at second, the outfield playing medium depth and didn't respect the fact that Eckstein can tag one and rifles this over Parra's head.
And the one thing I was thinking about, David Eckstein is known for taking some pitches. Gutierrez just went with the fastball right down the middle. And Eck jumped all over it.
Fans booing because Adrian Gonzalez, familiar scene. They're not going to give him a chance to swing the bat. The intentional walk. It'll be the second time this year he's been passed intentionally. And the 8th time total that he's walked this year. And it'll be up to Chase Headley. Ball 3.
Another thing that's interesting, David Eckstein tonight, prior to that double, both of his singles were to right field. Upton was playing very shallow. If he were to poke one to right field, try to get that run at the plate, but Eck just turns on a fastball. That is some great hitting by the Padres second baseman.
The Padres have rallied from 3-0 down with a run in the 8th. Run in the 7th, a run in the 8th, and now a run in the 9th inning to tie it. And the winning run at second base in the form of Eckstein. He fell his night through with ice down that pitching elbow. And Chase Headley, he's 1 for 4 tonight, a chance to win it. Breaking ball off speed, outside. Headley, despite the fact he leads the Padres in hits with 15 among the league leaders, has only a couple of RBIs. He's due to knock one in. Here's the time to win it. Foul to the screen. Another breaking ball. Eckstein just average speed now at second base. Gonzalez at first. A ball and a strike to Headley. Hits it deep to right field. That ball is hit down the line. Headley will touch a ball. The Padres win. A 3-run blast by Headley chases the fans home happy as the Padres come up with 4 in the bottom of the 9th inning and beat the Diamondbacks 6-3.
Well, Gutierrez tried to throw a piece of cheese by him, a 1-1 fastball. Chase Headley throws the head, and he immediately knew it.
He takes the grand journey on one swing. 3 runs, and the Padres rally with 4 in the bottom of the 9th inning as they come from 3-0 down to win this one 6-3. Thanks to Headley, San Diego wins, mission accomplished. Back with the totals in a moment.